Welcome back, freelance friends. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining me again. Today, we're going to do an episode of Let's Talk Tech. And specifically, we're going to discuss Zoom, Teams, or Google Meet for your freelance meetings. Which one should you use? What are the pros and cons of each one? I have a lot of experience in this area, so I'm going to give you my honest take. Because if you're a freelancer, chances are that a big part of your work happens on video calls. Whether you're running a client strategy session, teaching a workshop, or checking in on your collaborators, your ability to hold a professional, smooth online meeting says a lot about your brand. This is something that truly matters. In my own freelance work, I've seen this firsthand. And interestingly, one of my ongoing freelance gigs is actually managing and supporting an online event consulting team for a large global company that helps people plan professional events. And I actually got hired for that role because of how I was able to handle a Zoom class when I was teaching a session. I guess that the stakeholders determined that if I was teaching a class, running polls, breakout rooms, and screen shares successfully, and keeping everything running smoothly, that I would be able to advise other people on how to do the same thing. So those experiences opened the door to a new opportunity for me. Now I help clients deliver everything from formal webinar-style broadcasts to highly interactive sessions with polls, breakout rooms, and collaborative activities. And naturally, I do my best to bring all of those professional meeting elements into my freelance training and consulting work. Over time, I have worked extensively with Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and Google Meet. I even used WebEx back in the day, but I haven't used that one for several years. Now I am mostly aligned with either Zoom, Microsoft Teams, or Google Meet. And because of all this experience, I've learned which platforms shine in which situations. Here's how I ranked them. And I will give you my rationale for my rankings based on my own experience, what I've seen work best for freelancers and small business owners. So still at the top of the list is Zoom. It is my go-to platform. If I had to choose just one tool for the client-facing video meetings, it would be Zoom. It remains my favorite for training sessions and consulting work. And I really love it and rank it the highest because it's easy to use, it's intuitive for almost everyone, and participants who aren't tech savvy can come into Zoom and figure it out without a big problem. It's also very reliable. Zoom performs really well for small one-to-one meetings or large or international groups. There's very few glitches and few awkward pauses. It also has a lot of trainer-friendly features, which is obviously important to me. It has breakout rooms, polls, whiteboards, various screen sharing options. All of these are important in making the sessions interactive and seemingly effortless. You also have the ability to record and transcribe. Cloud recordings and automatic transcriptions can benefit you, especially for training sessions that you would like to replay or pull notes from at a later time. Now, of course, there is no platform that is absolutely perfect. There are a few things with Zoom that I would improve. I do feel like sometimes setting up some of the security settings can be confusing to people who are not used to it. I know that in working with people who do not have the benefit of having someone to run the settings by will often mistakenly enable or disable a waiting room or similar permissions. In addition, there's obviously always the cost factor. There is a free version, but it's limited. And depending on what you need, the pay plans, of course, can get a little pricier if you need some of their advanced features. But with all that said, Zoom is still my first choice because it's the most flexible, the most stable, and the most easy for clients to use, especially for trainings, webinars, or large virtual events. My runner-up is Microsoft Teams. And I do feel like Microsoft Teams is getting higher in my personal ranking. It hasn't yet surpassed Zoom in my virtual meeting heart, but it's getting close. I do use Teams regularly when working with large organizations, especially those who already use it within their Microsoft 365 world. So I do like it. I like that it's integrated into the rest of the Microsoft ecosystem. Everything connects: Outlook, OneDrive, SharePoint, and all of the other Microsoft 365 applications. So it's obviously a professional tool. It lets you chat. It lets you share associated files. It will allow you to take meeting notes, and recordings all stay within that one organized space of associating with that meeting. It's also enterprise ready. As I mentioned, I use it with several large organizations, so it does have excellent security and compliance for various clients that might need it. But I still feel like there are a few things that Microsoft could do better with Teams. One is the learning curve. I find that sometimes Teams can be overwhelming for freelancers who need to set up a meeting or smaller clients. I also find that sometimes, even within the meetings, the participants aren't really sure of all of the features that are available to them because there are so many. Another one of my biggest concerns are the performance glitches. Now, this has gotten better over the last year or two. I feel like in the not so distant past, but prior to the last year or two, that there were more consistent glitches with Teams, and people would have difficulty with their meetings or events. Sometimes the audio or video quality is a little bit lagging, especially if you compare it to Zoom. But again, that is definitely improving all the time. I also feel like they could do a slightly better job presenting some of their interactive features. I often work with people who just cannot figure out how to effectively use their breakout rooms and polls. And maybe it's because many of these people are coming from a Zoom environment and there's just the change factor that exists. But because it's so consistently brought to my attention, I do put the ownership back on Microsoft and say that maybe they could try to make these features a little more intuitive and seamless as Zoom does. So the bottom line is Teams is best when you are working inside a corporate environment when you already have a subscription to M365, it's likely included, or you're collaborating with a client who already uses the tool. Last is Google Meet. I'll call it my backup plan. Google Meet is the simplest of these tools, in my opinion, but sometimes that's exactly what you need. I will use it on occasion when I just need instant access. I don't have to download anything. I don't have to do an extra login, go to a separate page. If I'm already using the Google Suite, I can pretty much just click it and go. It makes scheduling really easy because it integrates with the Google Calendar and Gmail, both of which I use for my businesses. It's also very reliable for small groups, so that makes it great for quick check-ins or one-on-one calls. I have personally never tried to use it with a larger group, so unfortunately, I can't speak to that. I think that for whatever reason, I'm just a little bit hesitant to try that. And the reason for that hesitation is because it does have limited features in comparison to tools like Zoom or Teams. It doesn't have robust polling, annotation features, or breakout room options at the time of this recording. And that means for me, it's not really ideal for training classes. Instead, it's better to use when you're having a small informal meeting. Because again, there's less customization available in this tool. There's fewer options for branding or for formatting my session, and ensuring that my training sessions have a certain vibe is very important. So I want to make sure that I do have the appropriate tools to back up what I need to do. But Google Meet's perfect for quick informal calls. As long as you're not doing an interactive training or really professional event, I think that you'll be fine. And I've also observed that it isn't widely used with large organizations. So it may be one of the reasons why I do view it as a more casual option. Now, regardless of what platform you choose, how you show up and run your event really matters. It's much more important than the tool itself. Now, with that said, there are a few simple things that you can do to take your virtual presence from just okay to polished and professional. First one is to check your lighting and camera angle. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to ensure that you are well lit, that it doesn't look like you are broadcasting from a basement without any lights. And similarly, you don't want to have so much light on you that you look like you're glowing. In general, natural light or a ring light of some type makes a huge difference. I don't use a ring light myself. It's a rectangular light that's similar to a ring light. I can put the link to what I'm using. It's a very low cost option, but when you're just getting started, I feel like it provides enough light to make you look professional. You also want to keep the camera at eye level. I can't tell you, even though we've been using Zoom and Teams for all of these years, that there are people who will still be presenting at meetings with the top of their head cut off or their chin and neck cut off because they don't have the camera at the right level. And that's important. Next, and we've talked about this before in a separate podcast, is make sure you have an appropriate audio device. A good mic or a headset instantaneously improves how you sound and how seriously people take you. I have a sort of lower cost option that I've been using with my Blue Yeti. I spoke about that in the other podcast and why I chose it. I will put that link also in the comments. Next, you want to set the scene. You want to have a clean, uncluttered background. Now, in my case, you can see that I usually choose to put fresh flowers in the background. That is my preference. It may not be your cup of tea, but you want to have something that's overall neat and uncluttered that makes your space look intentional and just reflective of you and who you are. All of our spaces should not look the same. They should tell the audience a little bit about us in a nonverbal way. Next, you want to use engagement tools. That is important for keeping people engaged. Use polls, breakout rooms, or chat prompts to turn those passive attendees into active participants. And last, but definitely not least, prepare your technology. Log on early. Test your mic. Test your camera. Test your slide sharing before you go live. That is so critical. And you would not believe the number of people who I work with who risk jumping on just before they go live in the belief that everything is going to work smoothly. And we all know that, well, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And a smooth start is going to set the tone for your whole meeting. This is such an important topic and really critical in many ways to your success that I'm working on putting together a very short course on professional virtual meeting setup and tips. I'm designing it obviously specifically for freelancers and solopreneurs who want to look and sound their best online. In the course, I'm going to take my years of experience and let you know a little bit more on how to choose the right tools and actually go in and set up your meetings on the back end so that you can run polished interactive client sessions. In essence, this course should help you to build your confidence and your presence on camera, because you'll avoid the common pitfalls that make online meetings feel amateurish. So if that sounds like something that you'd benefit from, take a look at the freelanceshift.com. It should be available soon. And if you want more information, just let me know. Thank you for joining me today. I hope that you found this helpful. Please like and subscribe. If you do, I will be posting other videos regularly in the hopes that it will bring you further along the path in your freelance journey. Until the next time, take care. Bye.